Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that's as true today as it was when I first learned it. You can't hit a target you can't see. It's just not possible. Success begins with clarity. If you want to achieve anything in life, whether it's starting a business, improving your health, or building a better future for your family, you've got to know exactly what you're aiming for. Without clarity, you're like a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the wind blows. But when you're clear about your goals, you take control of your direction and your destiny. Think about it when you sit down in a restaurant and the waiter comes to take your order. You don't just say, "Bring me some food." No. You're specific. You look at the menu, decide what you want, and tell the waiter exactly what to bring you. Why? Because you know that if you're not clear, you won't get what you want. The same principle applies to life. If you're not specific about your goals, how can you expect to achieve them? Clarity isn't just about knowing what you want, it's about defining it in a way that inspires action. A vague goal like "I want to be successful" doesn't cut it. What does success look like to you? Is it financial freedom? Is it being able to spend more time with your family? Is it making a difference in your community? You've got to drill down and get specific. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be healthy," say, "I want to lose 20 pounds by eating clean and exercising 5 times a week over the next 3 months." Now that's a goal. It's clear, it's measurable, and it gives you a roadmap to follow. Let me share a story. I knew a young man who was struggling in life. He had dreams, but they were just that, dreams. He'd say things like, "I want to make more money," or "I want to do something big," but when I asked him, "How much money do you want to make? What does big mean to you?" he didn't have an answer. He was drifting because he lacked clarity. So I sat him down and told him to write out exactly what he wanted, how much money, by when, and what he'd do to earn it. You know what happened? As soon as he got clear about his goals, his whole attitude changed. He started taking action, and within a year, he was in a completely different place in life. Clarity is powerful because it gives you focus. And focus is like a magnifying glass. It can concentrate the energy of the sun and start a fire. But without focus, that same energy is scattered and ineffective. When you're clear about your goals, you know what to say yes to, and just as importantly, what to say no to. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you closer to your target and start putting your energy into what matters most. But here's the thing, clarity isn't just about what you want to achieve, it's also about why you want to achieve it. Your why is the fuel that drives your actions. When you're crystal clear about the purpose behind your goals, you'll find the motivation to keep going, even when the going gets tough. For example, if your goal is to build a successful business, ask yourself, why is this important to me? Maybe it's because you want to provide a better life for your family, or maybe it's because you're passionate about solving a problem that matters to you. Whatever your why is, keep it front and center, and it will pull you forward when challenges arise. Now, let me give you a practical tip. Write your goals down. Don't just think about them, put them on paper. There's something powerful about seeing your goals in writing. It turns them from vague ideas into tangible commitments. And don't just stop there. Review your goals regularly. Keep them in front of you. Read them every morning to remind yourself of where you're going and why. This simple habit can make a world of difference in keeping you focused and motivated. And don't forget to set a deadline. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. When you set a deadline, you create a sense of urgency that pushes you to take action. For example, if your goal is to write a book, don't just say, "I want to write a book someday." Say, "I will write a 60,000-word book by December 31st. The deadline turns your goal into a priority, and priorities are what drive progress. In conclusion, my friends, remember this: clarity is the foundation of all success. If you're not clear about what you want, you'll spend your life wandering in circles, wondering why you're not getting anywhere. But when you take the time to define your goals with precision, what you want, why you want it, and how you'll achieve it, you set yourself on a path to greatness. You give yourself a destination, a roadmap, and the fuel to keep going. So take some time today to get clear about your goals, write them down, make them specific, measurable, and meaningful, and then review them every day, reminding yourself of where you're headed and why. When you do this, you'll find that life starts to align in your favor. Opportunities will appear, obstacles will seem smaller, and progress will come faster than you ever imagined. Clarity is the first step in turning your dreams into reality. Get clear, stay focused, and I'll see you at the top. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine this: you're standing at the base of a mountain looking up at its peak. It's massive, intimidating, and seems almost impossible to climb. You want to get to the top, but the sheer size of it overwhelms you. What do? You give up? You stand there paralyzed, or do you focus on the first step, then the next, and the one after that? Success, my friends, is not about leaping to the top in one giant bound. It's about taking it one step at a time, breaking your big goal into manageable, actionable steps. Far too often, people set grand, ambitious goals, and that's great, but the problem is they get so caught up in the enormity of the goal that they don't know where to start. They become overwhelmed, and instead of taking action, they freeze. That's like staring at the top of the mountain and thinking, how will I ever get there? The truth is, you can't climb a mountain by focusing on the peak. You climb it by focusing on the next step in front of you. Let me tell you about a young woman I met once. She had a dream of starting her own business. She wanted financial independence, the ability to support her family, and the freedom to pursue her passion. But every time she thought about everything she needed to do, write a business plan, find investors, market her product, build a team, she'd feel overwhelmed and give up before she even started. So I asked her, what's the first thing you need to do to make this dream a reality? She paused for a moment, then said, I guess I need to figure out what kind of business I want to start. That's it, I told her. Forget about everything else for now. Focus on just that one step. Once you know what kind of business you want to start, the next step will become clear. You see, the beauty of breaking your goal into actionable steps is that it simplifies the process. Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, you focus on one small piece at a time. And let me tell you something, small steps add up. They create momentum. They build confidence. And before you know it, you're halfway up the mountain, looking back at how far you've come. Now let's talk about how to break your goals into steps that lead to progress. The first thing you need to do is write down your goal. Make it specific and clear. Then think about the big picture. What needs to happen for this goal to become a reality? Once you have that, start breaking it down into smaller tasks. Ask yourself, what's the first thing I can do right now to move closer to this goal? For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, don't start by trying to run 26 miles on day one. Start by committing to a manageable task, like running 1 mile or even walking around the block. Then gradually increase your distance as you build your stamina. Each step you take gets you closer to that marathon, and with each step, you prove to yourself that you're capable of achieving your goal. And here's the secret: every step, no matter how small, matters. When you take consistent action, even the smallest efforts compound over time. It's like planting seeds. You may not see the results right away, but with patience and persistence, those seeds will grow into something amazing. Let me give you another example. Imagine you want to write a book. The idea of writing an entire book can feel overwhelming, right? But what if instead of focusing on writing the whole book, you focused on writing 1 page a day? At the end of a year, you'd have 365 pages of full manuscript. That's the power of breaking your goal into actionable steps. But here's the catch: you've got to stay committed to those steps. It's not enough to plan them out, you've got to take action every day. You've got to show up even when you don't feel like it, even when progress seems slow. Remember, consistency beats intensity every time. It's better to take small, consistent steps than to try to do everything at once and burn out. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Zig, what if I don't know all the steps? What if I'm not sure how to get from where I am to where I want to be? That's okay. You don't have to have the whole path figured out to start moving forward. Take the first step, and the next step will reveal itself. It's like driving at night with your headlights on. You can only see a few feet ahead, but as long as you keep moving, the road will keep unfolding before you. So my friends, let me leave you with this: whatever goal you have, no matter how big or daunting it may seem, remember that it's achievable if you break it into actionable steps. Focus on what you can do today, right now, to move closer to your goal. Take it one step at a time, and don't get discouraged by how far you still have to go. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, because every step forward is a step in the right direction. Success doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. It comes to those who take action one step at a time, one day at a time. So start today. Take that first step, then the next, and the one after that. Keep moving forward, and before you know it, you'll be standing at the top of the mountain, looking back at the incredible journey that got you there. I'll see you at the top. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the magic of setting goals that stretch you just enough without breaking you. Too often, people fall into one of two traps. They either aim too low and hit, or they aim too high and give up. Both are dangerous because they keep you from reaching your potential. Real success lies in the balanced goal that's realistic enough to believe in and challenging enough to make you grow. Now, let me ask you, have you ever set a goal that you knew deep down you weren't really excited about? Maybe it felt too easy, like you could accomplish it with minimal effort. What happens then? You lose motivation because it doesn't inspire you. There's no thrill, no sense of accomplishment, no fire in your belly to chase after it. On the other hand, have you ever set a goal so ambitious, so far out of reach, that it felt more like wishful thinking than a real plan? What happens then? You might start strong, but when reality hits, you realize the gap is too wide and you give up. The sweet spot is right in the middle. A goal should be just outside your comfort zone, something that pushes you to become better than you are today, but not so far out of reach that it feels impossible. That's what I mean when I say your goals should be realistic and challenging. Let me give you an example. I once knew a man who wanted to lose weight. Let's call him Jim. Now, Jim was serious about turning his life around. He set a goal to lose 50 pounds in a month. Ambitious, right? But here's the problem. It wasn't realistic. He started strong, cutting calories and hitting the gym every day, but after a week he realized he couldn't sustain that level of effort. He got discouraged, quit altogether, and went back to his old habits. Then we sat down and I asked him, what's a goal you can realistically achieve while still pushing yourself? He thought about it and said, I could aim to lose 10 pounds in a month. That's the magic number, a goal that was challenging enough to require effort, but realistic enough to require effort, but realistic enough to believe in. And you know what? Jim hit that goal, and then he set another one, and another. Before he knew it, he had lost those 50 pounds, just not all at once. You see, my friends, the key to achieving challenging goals is to build momentum. When you achieve a realistic goal, you build confidence. That confidence becomes fuel for the next challenge. It's like climbing a staircase. You don't leap to the top in one jump. You take it one step at a time, and each step gives you the strength to tackle the next. But let's not forget the importance of the why behind your goal. Why do you want to achieve it? Your why is what keeps you going when the going gets tough. For Jim, it wasn't just about losing weight, it was about being healthy enough to play with his kids and live a longer, fuller life. When your why is strong, your willpower follows. Here's another critical piece of the puzzle. You've got to be honest with yourself about your current reality. Setting realistic and challenging goals doesn't mean settling for less, but it does mean acknowledging where you are starting. If you're climbing a mountain, you need to know whether you're at the base or halfway up. When you know where you are, you can plan your next move with precision. And let me tell you something, the challenge itself is what makes the journey worthwhile. Goals that stretch you teach you resilience. They teach you discipline. They force you to develop new skills, new habits, and a new mindset. That's where the growth happens. The goal isn't just about achieving the end result, it's about who you become along the way. Now let's talk about failure for a moment. Some of you might be afraid to set challenging goals because you're worried you might fail. Let me tell you something, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every failure teaches you something valuable. It shows you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. The only real failure is not trying at all. So how do you set goals that are both realistic and challenging? Start by writing them down. Be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Define what success looks like for you. Then ask yourself, does this goal push me out of my comfort zone? Does it require effort, discipline, and growth? And finally, is this something I believe I can achieve with hard work and persistence? Remember, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Set a timeline that gives you enough time to work hard, but not so much time that you lose urgency. Break the goal into smaller milestones and celebrate each one you achieve. In conclusion, my friends, setting realistic and challenging goals is the key to unlocking your full potential. Don't sell yourself short by aiming too low, and don't set yourself up for failure by aiming too high. Find that sweet spot, a goal that excites you, stretches you, and makes you grow. When you approach your goals with this mindset, you'll find that the journey itself is as rewarding as the destination. And when you reach that destination, you'll look back and realize you've become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever thought possible. So go ahead and dream big, but plan smart. Challenge yourself, but keep it real. Set your sights on that next level and take the first step today. I'll see you at the top. Friends, if there's one thing I've learned in my years of working with people from all walks of life, it's this: success isn't reserved for the smartest, the strongest, or the luckiest. Success belongs to those who persevere. It's not about how fast you start or how impressive your plans are. It's about sticking with it when the excitement fades, when the challenges mount, and when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. Perseverance, my friends, is the great equalizer. Now think about this for a moment. Have you ever watched a stonecutter at work? He swings his hammer again and again, sometimes hundreds of times, and nothing seems to happen. Then, on the 100th swing, the stone splits in two. Was it that final swing that broke the stone? No, it was the accumulation of every swing before it. That's how perseverance works. It's the consistent effort over time that leads to breakthroughs. When you set a goal, the initial excitement can carry you for a while, but there will come a time when the road gets tough. Maybe you face setbacks like unexpected obstacles or slower progress than you hoped for. Maybe you encounter naysayers, people who tell you it can't be done or that you're not cut out for it. This is the point where many people give up, but not you, because you understand that setbacks are part of the process, not the end of the road. Let me tell you about a man who exemplifies the power of perseverance. His name is Thomas Edison. You know him as the inventor of the light bulb, but what most people don't realize is that he failed thousands of times before he succeeded. Thousands. When asked about his failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways it won't work." That's the mindset of perseverance. Every failure brought him closer to success because he kept learning, kept improving, and most importantly, kept going. You see, perseverance isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. When you hit a wall, don't just keep banging your head against it. Step back, reassess, and find a way around it, over it, or through it. To learn from your mistakes. Adapt your approach. Stay committed to the goal, but be flexible with the method. That's how you turn obstacles into opportunities. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Zig, I've been trying for so long and I still haven't achieved my goal. How do I keep going when progress feels so slow? Here's the answer. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Break your goal into smaller milestones and celebrate each one you achieve. When you shift your attention to what you're accomplishing day by day, you'll stay motivated even when the finish line feels far away. And don't underestimate the power of your mindset. Perseverance starts in the mind. If you tell yourself, "This is too hard," or "I'll never make it," you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you tell yourself, "I can handle this," or "Every step brings me closer," you'll find the strength to keep going. Your thoughts shape your reality. Fill your mind with positivity, determination, and belief in your ability to succeed. Let me share another story with you. There was a young athlete who dreamed of competing in the Olympics. She trained every day, pushing her body to the limit. But just a year before the Games, she suffered a serious injury. Many people told her to give up, that her dream was over. But she refused to quit. She focused on her recovery, worked harder than ever, and against all odds, made it to the Olympics. She didn't just compete, she won a medal. That's the power of perseverance. The road to your goal may not be smooth. In fact, I can almost guarantee it won't be. There will be potholes, detours, and even moments when you feel like turning back. But remember this, every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The obstacles aren't there to stop you, they're there to test you, to see how badly you want it. So how do you develop perseverance? Start by committing to your goal, no matter what. Write it down, keep it in front of you. Remind yourself every day why it matters. Surround yourself with people who support and encourage you. And most importantly, take consistent action. Even on the days when you don't feel like it, show up and do the work. Perseverance isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. In conclusion, my friends, success is not a straight line. It's a winding road filled with ups and downs. But the people who reach the top are the ones who refuse to give up, no matter how hard it gets. Perseverance is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It's what turns vision into victory, potential into performance, and goals into achievements. So keep swinging the hammer, even when the stone doesn't seem to crack. Keep taking steps, even when the journey feels long. Keep believing, even when the results aren't visible yet. Because every effort you make, every lesson you learn, and every setback you overcome is bringing you closer to your goal. Stay the course, my friends, persevere, and when you finally achieve your goal, you'll look back and realize that the journey was worth every step. I'll see you at the top. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to start a fire with a magnifying glass? If you have, you know that the key to success isn't just about having sunlight, it's about concentrating that sunlight into a single point. Without focus, the sunlight is scattered and nothing happens. But when you focus it, that same light becomes powerful enough to ignite a flame. Your goals work the same way. Without focus, they're just scattered dreams. But with focus, they become unstoppable forces that can change your life. You see, in today's world, distractions are everywhere. We live in an age where information comes at us from all directions: social media, emails, notifications, endless to-do lists. It's easy to get pulled in 100 different directions and lose sight of what really matters. And that's the danger, my friends, because every time you let a distraction take your attention away from your goal, you're slowing down your progress. Focus is about more than just keeping your eyes on the prize. It's about eliminating the noise that tries to pull you away. Imagine you're driving to a destination. If you keep stopping to check every roadside attraction, you'll never get there. But if you stay focused on the road, you'll arrive faster and with less stress. The same principle applies to your goals. Let me tell you about a young man I once worked with. He was full of ambition, full of ideas, and full of energy, but he had a problem. He was trying to do too much at once. He wanted to start a business, go back to school, train for a marathon, and learn to play the guitar all at the same time. Now, those are all great goals, but the problem was he wasn't making real progress on any of them because his focus was scattered. So I asked him, what's the one goal that matters most to you right now? The one that, if you achieved it, would make the biggest difference in your life after some thought. He said, starting my business. Then that's where your focus needs to be, I told him. Put the other goals on hold for now and give your business your full attention. Once you've made progress there, you can revisit the others. And you know what? When he focused all his energy on that one goal, he started making real progress. He launched his business and it became a success. Later he went back to tackle his other goals, but it all started with learning to focus. Now, I'm not saying you can only have one goal in life, but what I am saying is that you can't give your best effort to everything at once. You've got to prioritize. Decide what matters most right now and give it your all. That's how you move forward. But focus isn't just about saying yes to your goal, it's also about saying no to distractions. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goal, you're saying no to your progress. That might mean turning off your phone when you're working, saying no to invitations that pull you off course, or even cutting back on things that feel urgent but aren't truly important. Here's the good news: focus isn't something you're born with or without. It's a skill you can develop. Start by creating an environment that supports your goals. Remove distractions. Set aside dedicated time to work on your goal and protect that time like it's sacred. And let's talk about clarity, because focus without clarity is like trying to drive in the fog. You need to know exactly what you're aiming for. Write down your goal and be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Define what success looks like for you. The clearer your goal, the easier it is to focus on it. Let me give you another example. Imagine a professional athlete preparing for the Olympics. Every decision they make, from what they eat to how they train to how much they sleep, is driven by their goal of winning a medal. That level of focus is what separates the good from the great. It's not just about talent, it's about the ability to block out distractions and give 100% to what matters most. So how do you maintain focus when the road gets tough? First, remind yourself of why you started. Your why is the fuel that keeps you going. Second, break your goal into smaller milestones. Each milestone gives you something to focus on in the short term, which keeps you motivated in the long term. And third, celebrate your progress. Every step forward is proof that your focus is paying off. In conclusion, my friends, focus is the bridge between dreaming and achieving. Without it, your energy is scattered and your progress slows to a crawl. But with focus, you can harness your full potential and turn your goals into reality. So take a moment to ask yourself, what's the one goal that matters most to me right now? What can I do today to move closer to it? And what distractions do I need to eliminate to stay on track? Remember, success doesn't come from doing everything, it comes from doing the right things with laser-like focus. Stay the course, keep your eyes on the prize, and don't let anything pull you away from what matters most. Because when you focus, you'll find that the path to your goal becomes clearer and the results come faster. I'll see you at the top. Let's talk about the final but equally vital aspect of goal setting, celebrating progress, and staying motivated. You see, achieving big goals doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, and like any journey, it's important to recognize the milestones along the way. Celebrating progress is not just a feel-good activity, it's a fuel source that keeps you moving forward. Too many people make the mistake of thinking they can only celebrate when they've reached the finish line. They set their eyes so firmly on the destination that they overlook the beauty of the journey itself. Let me tell you, if you wait until the end to pat yourself on the back, you might miss the joy and satisfaction that comes from the small victories along the way. Those small victories are what keep your motivation alive. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. If you only focus on reaching the summit, the climb might feel overwhelming. But what if every now and then you stop, take a deep breath, and look back at how far you've come? Suddenly you realize you've made incredible progress. That sense of accomplishment energizes you for the next part of the climb. Celebrating progress works the same way. It reminds you that you're not standing still, that you're moving closer to your goal with every step. But let's be clear, celebrating progress doesn't mean settling for less. It's not about becoming complacent. It's about acknowledging your hard work and giving yourself credit for the strides you've made. I think of it as refueling your tank. You can't drive a car on an empty tank, and you can't stay motivated without recognizing the wins along the way. Now, let me share a story about a young woman named Sarah. Sarah wanted to write a book, but she was daunted by the thought of completing hundreds of pages. She felt stuck, overwhelmed by the sheer size of the task. So we broke it down into smaller, manageable goals. Her first milestone was to write one chapter. When she finished that chapter, she celebrated not by stopping her progress, but by taking a moment to acknowledge her achievement. She treated herself to her favorite coffee and took a photo of her completed chapter as a reminder of her progress. That small celebration reignited her passion, and before she knew it, she had written the entire book. The lesson here is simple. When you celebrate small wins, you build momentum. That momentum propels you forward, making it easier to tackle the next challenge. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. Each win adds to your energy and enthusiasm, creating a ripple effect that carries you closer to your ultimate goal. Now let's talk about motivation. Staying motivated over the long haul isn't always easy. There will be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or even tempted to give up. That's when celebrating progress becomes even more important. It reminds you of how far you've come and reignites the belief that you can keep going. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to keep your why front and center. Why did you set this goal in the first place? What will achieving it mean for you and the people you care about? Your why is your anchor, your North Star. When the journey gets tough, revisit your why and let it remind you of what's at stake. Another powerful tool for staying motivated is visualization. Picture yourself achieving your goal. Imagine how it will feel, what it will look like, and how it will impact your life. That mental picture can be incredibly motivating, especially when combined with celebrating the progress you've already made. But let's not forget about accountability. Share your progress with someone you trust, a friend, a mentor, or a coach. When you involve others in your journey, their encouragement can boost your motivation, and their perspective can help you see progress you might have overlooked. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Zig, what if I don't feel like I've made enough progress to celebrate? Let me tell you, progress is progress, no matter how small. Even taking the first step toward your goal is worth celebrating because it's the step that turns intention into action. Remember, success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about moving forward, even if it's just one step at a time. Here's the truth, my friends, achieving your goals is a marathon, not a sprint. And just like a marathon runner, you need checkpoints along the way to stay motivated and measure your progress. Those checkpoints remind you that you're on the right path, that you're capable of moving forward, and that the finish line is getting closer with every step. In conclusion, celebrating progress is not just a nice thing to do, it's an essential part of the journey. It keeps you motivated, builds momentum, and reminds you that you're making strides toward your goal. So take time to recognize your wins, no matter how small they may seem. Reflect on how far you've come. Stay connected to your why and let your progress fuel your passion for the road ahead. Remember, every great achievement is the result of countless small victories. Celebrate those victories, stay focused, and keep your eyes on the prize. The journey may not always be easy, but when you take time to acknowledge your progress and stay motivated, you'll find that it's worth every step. And when you finally reach your goal, you'll look back with pride, not just at the destination, but at the incredible journey that brought you there. I'll see you at the top.